there, tarot people. Right, we have our reading for the day, which is a couple of cards that came out. So let's take a look at these two. Yeah, interesting coupling here that we have that popped out of the deck as I was shuffling this morning. And I've been sitting with these two cards and I've been thinking, wow, what is this message? I mean, in order for you to find out what it means to you, you've got to sit with them too. But I can give you a few pointers and share a little bit of a personal story which might help you in one way or another. So, I mean, so they're very connected, these two cards, or at least the message can be seen as quite an obvious one. So we have this, this upright Five of Cups where there's 3 cups spilled and this cloaked figure and 2 cups still standing behind. So this is this classic cloaking ourselves in darkness, really focusing on the spilled cups, which represent, a loss, something that's been lost in our lives, something that is negative, something that brings up, darker feelings inside of us. This is something that might make us feel shame, or something that will make us feel sad and grieve, something that we'll feel pain around, that we'll feel an inner darkness, and it could be guilt, it could be self-doubt, it could be fear, so many dark emotions that we might cloak ourselves in. This is definitely the poor me story. It's how bad life is, how difficult things are, and if you look at the world, the world is so, you go on the news, there's hardly any positive news at all. The big headlines are, how many people are dying of COVID, how many people are, they're just like very much fear-mongering stories, because in a way it seems easier to latch onto us, to get an emotional reaction out of us through fear and through self-doubt and through, this sadness, this inner sadness that we all feel on so many levels, but we don't all deal with, and so we suppress and repress in different ways. This card is kind of calling us to have a look at that, to have a real look at the way we close ourselves off, the way we protect ourselves from the world with this strong dark cape, the way we might mask ourselves and stop ourselves from really feeling the fear and the self-doubt and the pain and the loss that our life might have given us. And related to this card reversed, this is the card of having a clearer vision, a clearer perspective, of having the world in your hand, of being aware of your mission, of being connected to your intuition. This is the card where we're like having a greater clarity about who we are and what we're here to do. And this is upside down because we're not clear, because the moment we focus on the darkness and the moment we're diving into the more pessimistic part of ourselves, it's impossible to connect with who we really are and what our greater vision of life is really all about. I was thinking about this card now. I'm going to bring in a little bit of a personal story here. And there's a loss here, there's a loss in this Five of Cups that we are really focusing on, and in a way we need to focus on it to gain clarity, to gain a bigger vision on many fronts. And it's important. This is kind of like the shadow work on many fronts. The guy is showing us his back, showing us his shadow. He's cloaked in darkness, and there is an important message to look into this a little bit. It's very easy to look at our shadow and to look at our darkness and just feel worse about ourselves and just go, oh my God, I'm so fucked up. I've got so much crap inside. I've got so many stories, and it's very easy to stay even more negative by focusing on our negative stories. And this is a delicate journey in a way, and I think it's a journey that needs guidance from help from people who can maybe guide you and help you in this story, because guiding ourselves into our own negativity sometimes just makes us cloak ourselves in more darkness. And it's a very difficult journey to take unless you can maintain a very clear and positive vision about what it's really all about. So these two cards again coming in to bring in their message. I remember a story that my mum told me when I was some years ago about when we were kids, and my dad left us when I was like under 1 year old, and my brother was a little bit older, and there was a time when he was supposed to turn up and take my brother take him out. Yeah, I was too young, but he was going to take him out and meet him, and he never turned up. And this story like brought up so much, strong pain and grief and sadness inside of me, thinking that my brother was just standing there and he was angry. He was angry that he was angry that my dad didn't turn up, but he didn't have anybody to express it to, so he was angry with my mum. And she said, there is this grief inside of loss, of feeling rejected, and I so related to this, even though it wasn't me who was supposed to be picked up. I felt it on an empathic level, and there's this sadness in that we might sit with, and if we don't process it and look into it, it can kind of keep us angry for a long time. And I know that I've suppressed some of my anger. The way I related to this story was when I was a kid, I would not have any hopes or expectations, and I remember like very clearly kind of doing it on purpose and tricking myself. And I would say, in a way I thought I was tricking the world and the people on the outside, and I would just, if I had a hope like, oh, I hope that happens, I hope we get to do this, and I hope I get this treat or that wonderful experience. I really wish that would happen. But instead of voicing it, instead of sharing my expectation and my hopes and my faith that something great would happen, I pretended I didn't care. So I thought, if I just act nonchalant about it, and if I pretend not to have this desire that something will happen, something great will happen, then I won't get disappointed, because I don't have to show the face of disappointment in the world. I don't have to go, oh, I really wanted that, and no, I haven't got it. Oh shit, how bad that is, And so I would deliberately not share any expectations and pretend not to care about the outcome, when inside I really did care about the outcome. And I would squash a little bit my hopes and dreams this way, because I would hold them in and pretend that they weren't there, and I was doing this to protect myself from disappointment, to protect myself from maybe a rejection that might come out. So I would protect myself from pretending I didn't care, and this pretending I didn't care became a bit of a habit, in the point where later on in life I saw, and I'm still I still have a little bit of it, that that is the echoes of this, that are me not really giving importance to what I care about, not giving importance to what is important to me and what my heart really wants. And that's what takes me away from the vision of what my mission is. If I'm not really connected to what I care about, if I'm not really willing to express and share who I am on a level of what is important to me, because I'm afraid that things might not work out, and I don't want to feel the disappointment, or I want to have an excuse of pretending I'm not disappointed when in reality I am. All of these silly mind games that I kind of played, and I remember playing them as a very early age, just with myself, thinking, it's safer this way, it's safer to not want something, it's safer to not project your desires too strongly out there, otherwise look at my brother, you could get disappointed and you could get angry. And it was kind of a lesson that he taught me this way, and I continued on through my life this way. This is a calling. It's a calling to dive into this darkness, so that we can actually see how we can grieve our own losses, so that we can really embrace our own lacks. If we don't embrace them properly, then we're going to cloud ourselves in darkness, and we're going to be very susceptible to the fear mongering in the world, and we're going to be very susceptible to having challenges come up in our life and have us run away from them and turn away and just feel, this victim mentality of I'm not good enough, of things aren't great, oh, this world is so dark, and there's plenty of dark things to look at in this world, and there's conspiracy theorists here that are going to be, focused on how much control is taking place and this and that and everything else. Take a look into yourselves. Take a look at how you are controlling yourself in a negative way, how you are sabotaging your own life, not how the world around you is a mirror for that sabotage, and how so much crap might be going on in the world that it's very difficult not to focus on it. We don't need to deny that. We just need to see that all of that out there is a mirror of what's going on inside of here. I can see I've sabotaged so much of my life. I've disconnected from my dreams and my hopes in so many ways, and this is just one of them. It's important to dive into our own dark pasts and our own grief and our own losses and our own fears in order to understand how that they are projecting into our life and creating the lack of vision and the lack of connection to what we really want to be clear about, and that's our spiritual mission. And we might distrust our intuition because we haven't been connecting to it, because we're afraid to feel that intuition and what it might bring up in our life, and that might make us make a mistake or make us have a loss in the future. And that fear to lose something in the future, our fear to fail in the future is blocking us grabbing opportunities and grabbing clarity about who we are right here, right now, and doing our shit. Love to you, people, from the heart. And a little bit of darkness to embrace, maybe in a positive way, with the purpose of diving into our shadow. If anybody wants a little bit of help diving into the shadow, here I am. I'm definitely have my fair share of this journey, and I wish you all a wonderful experience in yours.